Hello and welcome. I'm going to be discussing how strong is Gecko Moria. Now it's kind of hard to kind of work out how how hard how strong Gecko Moria really is. Because we've only seen him in a couple of fights. Only two or three fights, and that was um only like halfway through the series. So I'm just gonna go based off his fights, and we can go from there. So, and analyzing his fights with the Straw Hats, he honestly he got his ass whooped. Let's say that right now. Now you can say Luffy got a pretty big buff from absorbing all those shadows. I think he absorbed like 100 shadows or something. I mean, I guess that would, add up to like a decent buff because he was able to just demolish Oars and Gecko Moria when he absorbed all the shadows. But you gotta remember, Gecko Moria was a warlord, and I think honestly, he was one of the weaker warlords. Just like Crocodile, like, you always look back and you're like, for Luffy to beat Crocodile back all the way back there, Crocodile must have been pretty damn weak. And he was only at the start of the Grand Line. So it's like, how did Crocodile ever become a warlord if he was that weak? Um, I know it's just ridiculous. It's all to do with the plot. And then you have Crocodile showing up at Marineford, taking on guys, far stronger than Luffy was when Luffy beat Crocodile. It's pretty ridiculous. Pretty inconsistent, but I don't know. What can you say? It's the plot. So, anyway, let's analyze the fight between Gecko Moria and Luffy. So after Luffy absorbs all the shadows, he completely demolishes Oars, um, and gets some pretty good hits on Moria. And then after a certain amount of time, all those shadows kind of leaked out of Luffy's body. Because you can only hold those shadows for a certain amount of time. Um, and so when that time was up, all the shadows leaked out of his body, and he just went back to normal. Um, and then Gecko Moria absorbs like 1,000 shadows, makes himself really huge, but he just can't he just can't hold in that many shadows properly. Um, I'm sure he could hold in um like 100 like Luffy and be fine, but he just couldn't hold in all those shadows, 1,000 shadows. I don't even know why he done that. Sure, he had insane strength, but he was too big, just didn't have enough speed, and he just couldn't hold them in. When Luffy would attack him in second and third gear, you could see Gecko Moria just struggling to even hold the shadows in. So that's kind of, that was pretty stupid for Gecko Moria to even even do that. But I guess it was just a last ditch effort by Gecko Moria. And he's not really smart. That's one thing I've noticed about Gecko Moria is he really bugs me, man. He's not smart at all. He's honestly one of the dumbest characters. I don't even know how he became a warlord or anything. And I don't really like him as a character. I don't think he's that good, but that's just pretty subjective. So, um, yeah, and so Luffy just demolishes him in third gear. Um, and so at that point, Luffy was pretty weak compared to a lot of people. Um, and it only took Luffy's third gear to take out Moria. So Moria isn't that strong. And for a warlord, he's pretty weak. And now let's analyze one of his other fights. It's a pretty short fight. It was at Marineford, War of the Best with Jinbe. He's going up against Jinbe, and once again, he really bugs me because he thinks he can defeat Jinbe. Even though he got his ass whooped by Luffy, and it's like Jinbe's way stronger than Luffy was when you faced Luffy. So of course, Gecko Moria absorbs like, I don't know, 5 or 6 shadows, and makes him a bit bigger. But instantly, Jinbe's like, that, that won't get you anywhere. And Jinbe just straight up destroys Gecko Moria. With ease, honestly. So I wouldn't even say Gecko Moria is not even half as strong as Jinbe. Like there's no way. Jinbe's far stronger than Gecko Moria. And then we saw it at the end of Marineford. For people who haven't watched up to Marineford or past Marineford, might be some spoilers, so skip ahead. Yeah, so at the end of Marineford, we saw Doflamingo taking out Gecko Moria, and he chopped one of his legs off, and he's pretty much just toying with Gecko Moria. And then, somehow Gecko Moria just vanishes. I'm guessing it's something to do with his Devil Fruit power. And he got away from Doflamingo, but Doflamingo was just easily whipping his ass. We didn't see the fight, but we just saw Gecko Moria on the ground, just getting his ass whooped. So, yeah. So to conclude, Gecko Moria's strength. If I'd have to say how strong he is, I mean, he's a warlord, so he is strong, but he's not that strong. There are some weak warlords. I mean, look at Buggy. Like, what? Another spoiler if you haven't seen the series yet. Well, if you haven't seen up to the latest arc. But so if I had to compare him with someone, like honestly, all the other warlords would whip his ass. So he's not even as strong as any of the other warlords. Even though Crocodile got beaten by Luffy at the start, I reckon Crocodile would be able to get stronger, and I reckon he'd be able to, beat Gecko Moria for sure. And that's another thing. Luffy defeated these warlords so easily. Not easily, but he defeated them. And warlords are supposed to be like super strong and stuff. But there are like a few warlords that are super weak, which don't really understand. I guess it's just the plot and the way they write it. But I don't know, like how do you become a warlord if you can't even fend off a rookie? Sure, Luffy's strong, but he's a rookie. At that point, I mean, I guess he was like a super rookie, but still. So, if I had to compare him to anyone strength-wise, I can't really compare him just to one single character. I think that's kind of a bit hard in One Piece. But if I had to power scale him between people, I would say he's definitely stronger than Rob Lucci. But definitely weaker than Luffy from the Thriller Bark arc. And so I'd kind of put him in between those two. So for a warlord, he's pretty damn weak. And I'd say he's pretty much one of the weakest warlords. So that just tells you how weak he really is. I don't think he's that strong at all. And yeah, I do think he's one of the weakest warlords in One Piece. I think he does have like quite a bit of potential though, just because of his Devil Fruit power. I know it's a Prometheus type, which is the weakest Devil Fruit power. It's a fairly interesting one. He can control shadows, but it does have a lot of weaknesses, just as you saw in the series. So ultimately, Gecko Moria is going to be one of the weakest characters in One Piece. I don't think he's going to get that much stronger. And even if we do see him in the new world, I think he's still going to get his ass whooped by pretty much everyone. And I would like to see a fight between him and Crocodile. I think that'd be really interesting. Two former warlords against each other. That would be really cool. But ultimately, I think Crocodile would just end up whipping Gecko Moria's ass anyway. So that about wraps it up for this discussion on how strong is Gecko Moria. Thanks for watching, guys. Definitely be doing more of these, so tune in for more. And if you like the video, give it a like. Thanks for watching, guys.